Our September 11th regular council meeting. Bienvenue tout le monde. We are going to call the meeting to order. We do not have any regrets. Everybody is here this evening. Number 2 on the agenda is the invitation to stand and move. At any time you feel like you need to move around, feel free to do so. Number 3, the agenda. We're looking for the approval of the agenda. Are there any additions to the agenda this evening? Seeing none, can we have somebody make a motion to approve the agenda? Okay, moved by Councillor LeBlanc, seconded by Deputy Warden Saunier. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. Next, we have conflicts of interest declaration. Does anybody have a conflict of interest they would like to declare? Okay, I don't see any, but at any time, any point on the agenda, if there's something that you feel, you can declare at any time. Number 4, we don't have any presentations tonight. Number 5, we have the adoption of our minutes. Let's look at 5A, July 31st, 2025, the Executive Council meeting minutes. Are there any errors on those minutes? Okay, seeing none, they are adopted as presented. Next, we have August 6th, 2025, Special Council meeting minutes. Any errors or omissions on those? Okay, seeing none, they are adopted as presented. C, September 4th, 2025, Special Council meeting minutes. Any errors or omissions there? Okay, seeing none, they are adopted as presented. Number 6, recognizing Argyle. Do we have any council announcements to be made this evening? We will start with Councillor Bourque.
Thank you. Just like to congratulate again the East Punko New Horizons. They celebrated last night their 50th anniversary, so I congratulate them. It's a place where you can meet together and good friendships and laughs and lots of pots of tea and sweets they have every once a week. So thank you and congratulations to the New Horizons.
Thank you. Councillor Boudreau.
Yes, thank you, Warden. We had our 21st tuna tournament week this summer. It was well attended, and thank you to the volunteers, the people who attended, and all the hard work that was done. Thank you to congratulations to the fishermen that won and the fishermen that participated. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor LeBlanc.
Thank you. Just wanted to recognize Jill McKenzie and her committee there for the Argyle Optic Festival back in late July. They did a fantastic job. This was the 38th year of the Argyle Optic Festival. I was able to attend the fish fry and, of course, Bud's Barbecue Chicken at Glenwood Hall. Along with that, they also had the Legends of Apuptic, and congratulations to Wayne and Sharon Spinney for winning that award this year. I do want to give a special shout out, though, to Bud Spinney for, once again, the amount of time that he puts in, and, of course, his cooking skills are greatly appreciated, and his barbecue chicken is always a great treat for everybody. So once again, congratulations to all of them for another successful year. Thank you.
Is there anybody else? I would like to mention we had a successful Quinnen picnic at the end of the summer, Labor Day picnic. That been serving that meal for many, many years, and I don't think I've seen as many people as we had this year. The lineup just didn't stop. It went all day long, so it was really good. Councillor Surratt.
Yes, thank you. Just a quick mention, this weekend is the Harvest Festival for Le Village Acadien in Pamlico from 1 to 4. It's on Saturday. They've also had a really good season throughout the summer. The summer students have returned, so thanks to the summer students who actually were employed there, and the staff are going to continue for the next few weeks until it closes for the season.
Good, thank you. Okay, we will move on. Number 7, we have the warden's report. So did you, Councillor?
Late, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd just like to say a special thank you for all of the people and all the organizers that organized the Aidan Lee Goodwin Memorial Ball Tournament that was held a couple of weeks ago. It was much bigger again than last year, and kudos to all the organizers and all the participants. It went over very well. It was 2 days, maybe 3 days. Might have started Friday evening. It was a lot of fun, had by all, and it was great to see in memory of a young fella that lost his life much too soon. And also just a shout out to the volunteers in general this summer that put on all kinds of functions all over the area. And, people say, oh, it was great, everything worked out well, but it just doesn't work out well. People make it work out well. And it was great to be part of a lot of those functions. And same as that supper, anywhere there's food, you'll usually find me, so I try and get around. Thanks to all again. Thank you.
Thank you. Warden's report is attached. Any questions on that? Okay, next we have number 8, committee reports. Is there anybody that would like to make a report on any committees, any meetings? Usually in the summer, meetings kind of calm down a little bit, but if anybody has anything to report? Okay, we will continue on, number 9, with 7-day notice. So 9A, we have amendments to Article C11, procurement. Excuse me. So we have in front of us the procurement policy. And this is basically, there's a few additions in section 2 for authority. It's basically about how much people are able to spend, how they get permission. There's also some additions to section 5, purchasing authority, unbudgeted expenditures, and 5.5. So there's a few additions to that policy, and this is our first reading. Are there any questions on that? It will come up at a future meeting. Okay, we will continue on. Number 10, for decision and discussion. 10A, Festival de la Barge tax exemption request. So in our, on the attachment, it explains that the Festival de la Barge property is taxed as resource, but really qualifies for an exemption as a nonprofit. It was owned by the church, and before, when it was owned by the church, it was tax exempt. But then when the Association of Festival de la Barge took over, it became resource tax. It's taxed right now at the amount of 1.13, but logistically, really, this one should be put on the tax exempt list. So really what we're looking to do, and it just so happened that when it all came to light, it was after we had already passed our list. So we're looking basically for a motion to, let me see where I wrote this, a motion to add the Festival de la Barge property to our tax exemption list. Is anybody willing to make that motion? Councillor Foster?
I would like to make that motion.
Okay.
Since it is in my district.
Certainly. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Madden. Any other questions or comments on that? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Next, we have second reading, 10B, second reading bylaw X25, circus animal prohibition repealed. There is an attachment. Ms. Newell would like to speak to that before we do anything more.
Thank you, Warden. Yes, I just wanted to let you guys know that you're going to see a few of these coming through, probably a few between now and the end of the year, just because we're going through the bylaws at the moment and finding the ones that don't really pertain to what we do anymore. As you can see, some of them are very old and they haven't been revisited since 1989. So we're going through them and just kind of cleaning things up. So the process is a little lengthy when it comes to repealing bylaws. So just know that you will be seeing some of those come through, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. So on this item, we're looking for a motion to pass second reading of bylaw X25. Is somebody willing to make that motion? Okay, it's moved by Councillor Surratt, seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Next, we have 10C. It is the first reading of bylaw X5, which is committees and functions, another one to repeal. So we're looking for a motion to pass the first reading of bylaw X5, committees and functions. Moved by Deputy Warden Saulnier, seconded by Councillor Bourque. Questions or comments on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Next, we have 10D, Article 58, Social Media Comments Policy. We've already had a first look at this policy. Just bringing it up. There are a few changes that were made to the social media comments policy. So section 3.3, this had to do with, part of it was our website, sorry, and when it is appropriate or inappropriate to decide on when comments should be allowed or not be allowed. It's basically to ensure that there's respectful communication that goes on between constituents, between the municipality, and it is clearly stated that it's not about not being able to voice concerns, it's about the tone and the type of respectful comments that are made. So if we are okay with this, can we have a motion to approve Article C58? Moved by Councillor Bourque. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Madden. Questions or comments on this one? Deputy Warden Saulnier.
Thank you, Warden. I had kind of asked this question before to our CAO. In the past, we've suggested that there are certain items that should only be addressed by a spokesman. I don't see that language here, or maybe I missed it. Should it be in there?
CAO Hughes?
Through you, Madam Chair, thank you for the question. This relates more to comments coming in. We don't actually post comments on our own posts. So I think that typically what happens with our posts is whether the appropriate person would be responsible for posting it. So if it's a political or if it's an administrative post, that may or may not see the light of day in terms of council deciding that. Most of it is like, hey, don't forget garbage, pick up and all that. A lot of it is administrative. So this relates not to what we say, because we're not gonna make comments on our policy. It's more about how other people have respectful dialogue in the comments policy, because we have seen an increase in less favorable comments being made about either people, and we don't want to get into any sort of comments that run contrary to the human rights or any sort of constitutional rights, et cetera. So anything that crosses the line, we're basically saying we have the right to delete it, whereas before we didn't. Official word coming out of council will still come out of the warden policy or deputy warden, or sorry, the council procedure policy, which states clearly that the role of political discourse rests with the warden or the deputy in her absence, and administratively would be myself. So that still remains, and so it's not said here because it's not pertinent to this one, but it's still in place.
Understood. Thank you for clarifying.
Any other questions or comments on that one? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Next, we have 10F, correspondence from Yarmouth International Airport Corporation regarding renaming of the airport. So we received some information.
I think we have E.
Did we skip one?
We E.
Sorry.
Sorry for interrupting.
Nope. Sorry about that. Let's go back. 10E, amendment to Article C50, Council Procedural Policy. I think I might have skipped that one. No, I think in my book, because I write notes. No, this one is, I think this one is regarding where we added some language around question period. This was, we wanted to kind of streamline and make sure that we had clearer boundaries around what's acceptable during our question period, that it is not a presentation, that there is actually a timeline of how long a person can speak, that type of thing, to make sure that we ensure we have a safe and inclusive environment for anybody at our meeting who wishes to speak. So there was language added there. There was also language around there was just some changes in the order of the way that things are presented on our agenda. So we moved some things around.
Just
Public presentations, yes.
Yeah, combined, we had a public presentation policy, we combined it with this one.
Right.
And we will be repealing the public presentation policy once this one is passed.
Because the public presentations happen during
It's all
our
there.
council meetings, so now everything is included in this policy. No, thank you. Any questions around that? Sorry, do we have, if we're willing, can somebody make a motion to approve the amendments to Article C58? Moved by Counselor LeBlanc. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Counselor Boudreau. Questions or comments on that one? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Next, 10F, correspondence from the airport. So they're looking to do some rebranding and thinking about a possible new name for the airport, as they feel that the current name just doesn't kind of suit the message that they're looking to promote. So they are looking from us, they wanted us to think about it, and they're hoping to get a motion to support their request from the Yarmouth International Airport Corporation to explore a potential name change for the Yarmouth International Airport as part of their upcoming vision and branding exercise. Is somebody willing to make that motion? Okay, it's moved by Councillor Bork, seconded by Councillor Surratt. Questions or comments on that? Councillor Madden.
So there's no fee included in this motion, there's no costs mentioned, and I'm just curious, that usually a name change or consultation period, or I see an engagement consultation, there's got to be a fee there somewhere that we should know about. I just feel that way anyhow. Don't know if anybody else.
Sure.
Thank you for your question. So we are currently going through this process, which has already been budgeted in regards to the rebranding. And so when we get to that point of what the report indicates or the recommendation on what to do, at that point, then we'll provide the costs and come to council in regards to it, or add it to the budget or whatever, which would be coming up probably in the next year and the new year. At this point, there has been recommendations from some board members in regards to what that name change should be, but before we actually accept that name change, we thought it would be prudent that, since we were going through this exercise, to ensure that that I guess the name that is recommended would be accepted, or does it fit in regards to what we're trying to do? So, yeah, the short answer to your question, yes, like anything, if we rebrand, there's going to be costs. If we're going to change the name during the rebrand, it'll be less of a cost to do it at that time than to just change the name without the rebranding. But when that time comes, then that obviously, a budget will be put forth to all three councils.
Second question?
Yes,
Is
go
there an advantage for a name rebranding?
Yes.
That come,
Yeah, it's, so when we're not just competing in southwest Nova Scotia for the airport, we're competing across the country. And so, when, if the federal government is looking at certain things or whatever, any advantage that we can present in regards to that, what is going to separate the Yarmouth Airport from other airports? And if you look at any business, there's always, things become stale in regards to, in the business, whether it's their logos, their messaging, or whatever. And so, if we're looking to take the Yarmouth Airport to the next level, this is a significant part in regards to that, to start that process to get it there.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on that? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Next, we have 10G, strong mayor powers. We have two attachments. This is for discussion with a possibility of a motion, I feel. So, so they're looking at possibly, there's a lot of moving parts to this. So right now, we have mayors and we have wardens, and a lot of the roles are similar. They're looking to possibly change this into a mayor system, and also looking to give the mayor more, it feels awful to say the word, but more power, I guess. So there would be more veto power. You'd be looking at, and there are three domains that this falls under, so in administration, in provincial initiatives, and the third one was, oh, what was it? But in budget, right. So as I read all the information and I did a little bit of research, it basically said that the mayor would be able to override other councillors on their council in decisions in those three areas. The CAO typically, I mean, we know the CAO's role within our council, and I mean, it's our CAO that presents the budget to us. The staff works on the budget, they bring it to us. But in this case, the mayor, if they had those strong powers, they would have way more input on that budget and could make decisions without necessarily consulting and coming forward and just saying to the council, this is what we're going to do. This is my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong. So in terms of administration and budgeting and provincial initiatives as well, so they could easily, like, something that would come up from the province that says we have to do this, and council is not crazy about the idea, the mayor could say, no, we're doing this. So I guess part of this discussion is to put it on the agenda is to really talk amongst ourselves about how do we feel about this? Is this something we would support, or is this something that we feel isn't necessarily the direction we would like to go into? Because we should probably voice our opinion to our NSFM, who are the ones who would bring forward our opinion. I know myself, as I read the information, the thoughts of this scares me. I would not, honestly, I would not want to have that position. I think you would need a specific skill set to, and if we changed it, so a mayor is voted differently than a warden is. The mayor is at large. The warden, as we know, is voted amongst the councillors. So I think, okay, if this system changed, and if people didn't necessarily understand the difference, because it would take a lot of education for our constituents to understand the difference, it would be devastating if you had the wrong person come into that role. I think it could be really scary, to be honest. I probably have spoken way too much on it, but that's kind of some of the thoughts. As I read through it, I just kind of went through and I was like, ooh, I wouldn't want to do that, and that's a lot. It doesn't feel democratic to me. It doesn't feel like, right? It doesn't feel like we would be a team. And for me, as ward, I wouldn't want that. I rely on all of you, right? We discuss things, we make decisions together, and it just feels like, whew, it feels a little bit, especially if you had the wrong person in that role. So this is up for discussion, and I have lots of names here, so we will start with Deputy Warden Saulnier.
Thank you, Warden. I happen to agree with everything you said, especially the scared part, or the scary part. It looks like that if it went that way, just to entertain the thought for a second, the warden or mayor would need an economic background. So that leaves a lot of people out, basically. I mean, you look around this table, there's a lot of skill sets, very diverse council, you know. I don't have to go on, you guys see it, from teachers to fishermen to carpenters to paramedics and business owners. So, but there's not a whole lot in economics, and I find that in that shape, in that way, it would be very restrictive as to who you can have as a mayor. And that's, again, that is scary. So I, at this point, with everything I've read, I do not support this whatsoever, not even close. And then there's this veto power, so everything you know, it just blows me away that we could be blown away by just a veto power. So I'm sure you guys have a lot to say as well, so thank you.
Would you like to speak next, CAO? You're next on the list.
Oh, okay. Just to clarify a couple things, so the AMA, the NSFM recently took a position. At the time that this was shared or drafted with you, they had not. And so the NSFM has taken a position. You may remember there was a survey put out to all of you as individual counselors, and those of you who answered have answered. And the answers have given the NSFM the position that they are not in favor of strong mayor powers. Unfortunately, we don't really know what strong mayor powers actually means for Nova Scotians. We know what it means for Ontario because that has gone out. So it's difficult for us to say whether you like or dislike certain elements of that because we don't actually know. I mean, the three things that were presented here are our best assumption based on what it could be based on the Ontario model. In fact, it may be much different than that, but we don't know that. But I think I brought it to your attention for a couple of reasons. One is the AMANS, which is my organization, has taken a position on this and that they are not in favor of strong mayor powers. They believe that it will weaken the administration's abilities to do their job. And I really don't want to comment on how it impacts you politically. You know how it might impact you politically. From an administrative perspective, it's concerning because there are many very, very seasoned and effective professional administrators that would find that kind of work, that administrative function is typically done by administrators, and political functions administrators stay out of. So this blends those two a little bit. So I just wanted to raise it here. The NSFM has taken a position. The province yet has not. So that's just the update I want to give you.
Thank you. Councillor LeBlanc.
Thank you. I'm sure we're all aware, I mean, this has been in the news recently with, I believe, coming out of Halifax or HRM, and that all started in regards to because of, I believe, looking to put bike lanes into a certain street and change that street to a one-way traffic, and that causes uproar. What I see with this is that those powers may, and I'm going to use that word very carefully, may work in large cities. And especially if you have a much larger council because of difference of opinions or whatever, and sometimes those councils do not agree. And sometimes those certain veto powers may work. And especially because of, if you look at the situation in Halifax in that regard, what council was prepared to do, it could have a detrimental impact in regards to traffic flow, and we all know what it's like driving in HRM right now. So, saying that, however, we're not Halifax. And looking at our council, and not just our council, but most of the councils throughout rural Nova Scotia, the key word to that was team, which you indicated, and we do work as a team. We might not always agree. We might disagree on different things. We might not all vote the same. But at the end of the day, when a decision is made, we all respect that decision and we move on. And yeah, I think that these types of powers in our rural areas are not warranted. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Digdon.
Thank you. Not much more left to say now than that from when it first started, but again, just to back up what Councillor Blanc was saying, a lot of that started here a little while ago, or a lot of what we've been hearing as far as the Nova Scotia scene has started a little while ago in Halifax. I don't honestly feel as though it would be the right way for your smaller councils to go across the province. I personally would feel very nervous, being under a mayor that has that much power. If that's the case, what would all these councillors be doing, to be truthful with you? Because you're given, one individual and that the power to change what all of these councillors may have said and may have, said it for a reason. So I'd be very nervous to go that way myself. I'd be very nervous to sit on a council with someone with that much power myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Bork?
Yes, thank you. I guess there is nothing left to say. So I'm not for this at all, and we're a team, and we work together, and I think it works well now, and we're rural. Most of Nova Scotia is rural, so I think it's the way to go, the way we're doing things. So I'm not for this at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Surratt?
Thank you. I agree. I think it feels like it's moving away from democracy. And I also agree that, yeah, I think you need a level of qualification that may be at a totally different level than what we see in the smaller communities. I am curious around process. So we have a warden, they're talking about mayor powers, like how does a community change in that process? I'm curious about, can some municipalities go that way while others not? And if only a small few or a few of us vote against, can we be forced to adopt? Like,
I
I'm
wondered the
really
same
curious
thing.
around the process piece of, it's fine for us to sit here and say, we all disagree, but are there powers beyond us that may make it happen if, several communities in Nova Scotia decide to go that direction? And what does it mean for a mayor versus warden?
I'm going to let CAO Muse and then Counselor Boudreau. I thought I had pressed it, sorry.
That's okay. Through you, Madam Chair, great question. I think the quick answer is that the province can pass legislation that will force some or all of the municipalities to conduct themselves the way that the province wishes us to. That being said, we do have two MGA documents. We have the HRM Charter, which is a different document than the Municipal Government Act. So we follow the Municipal Government Act. I guess 48 municipalities do. One is HRM, and they follow the Charter. So it is entirely possible that legislative changes could be made to the HRM Charter and not the MGA. So it is possible in that way that it would only apply to HRM. And I think that, however, if it's an MGA amendment, then we all have to abide by that. And there are problems with that because, first of all, we don't have a mayor. So strong mayor powers, well, first we need a mayor. So they may actually force a mayor at a future election. That's entirely possible. They can do that. And then, of course, and depending on where they go legislatively, it can be as strong or as weak as they choose it to be. And unfortunately for us, we are at the whim of those decisions.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Boudreau?
Yes, thank you. I'm thinking the same way as the rest. I'm totally against it. I mean, we were voted in democratically, 9 districts, and to give one person the power, it's not democracy. That's the way I look at it. Thanks.
Thank you. So, oh, sorry, go ahead, Counselor Digdon.
No, thank you very much. Just for the people that may be watching at home or whatever, just wondering if somebody could explain the NSFM, AMINS, and MGA, just so.
Yeah, we do that a lot, don't we?
Please and thank you.
NSFM is the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities. It's our organization it's our lobbying organization. So when we have issues, we bring them forward to the NSFM and they bring them forward to the province for us. AMENS is the administrative organization and same kind of thing, but for administrators. And MGA, the Municipal Government Act, which is what we follow. Okay? Yes, absolutely. So should we, my question on this one is, should we make a motion to send our position on this to, obviously NSFM has sent their position. Do we go beyond that to the province? That would be the route to take? So is somebody willing to make a motion that we send a letter expressing our position to the province? Okay, so it's the move by Deputy Warden Sonia, seconded by Councillor Bork. Questions or comments on that? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. Next, we have 10H, NSFM bylaw changes. We have 4 attachments. There have been some, changes to bylaws, and one of the ones that we are going to discuss tonight is the removal of the AMAN's Board of Directors person that was on the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities Committee. So there were 17 members previously, AMANs being administrators, give me the acronym for that, AMANs.
Association of Municipal Administrators in Nova Scotia.
Association of Municipal Administrators of Nova Scotia. They had a member on NSFM, and NSFM has made the decision to remove that member. They did notify AMANs, but there really hasn't been a whole lot of justification given as to why that member was removed. There is a member of NSFM that is on AMANs and currently stays on AMANs. So I guess we're just kind of looking at having some discussion. I know we're having a meeting, a virtual meeting for wardens and mayors on the 17th, 16th of September, it's virtual, to kind of discuss all of these bylaws. So I'm assuming we're going to get more information. I'm hoping we'll get more information around that. But we're looking here as well to possibly send our reaction to all of that. There's several attachments. There's the bylaws that we will be discussing. Deputy Warden Saulnier.
So, Alain, can you describe in a nutshell what are the ramifications of that?
Through you, Madam Chair. Good question. It's, as the outgoing president of the Association of Municipal Administrators, I actually sat on this board for almost 2 years, right up until the point where I couldn't. And the NSFM, Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities, and the AMANs had have a reciprocal understanding. So the elected official sits on the association board, and the association board member sits on the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities. The Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities is an advocacy group for the municipalities in Nova Scotia. So they don't work for they certainly don't work for CAOs, and certainly they don't work for the Association of Municipalities. They work on their own, and so they have priorities that the elected officials bring to the table, and some of you would have been involved in that, and many of you have actually attended the conferences around the NSFM. The board membership is meant as twofold, in my opinion. The first is relationship. It's important for both organizations to understand what the other is doing, because while they're certainly separate organizations, they often work on the same projects. So historically, many CAOs, directors of finance, fire chiefs, police officers, you name it, were asked to be a part of an NSFM subcommittee, whether there's work to be done. There was COVID funding. I can think of that as an example, where administrators are asked to give of their time freely to the NSFM to assist them in a project. So they've had a relationship for many years that worked back and forth. The Association of Municipal Administrators is against this bylaw change of eliminating the AMAN's board member. And while we're not particularly accustomed as administrators to be voting members, our involvement on that board was considered to be important. Now, the NSFM has grown a lot over the years and is now actually involved in a lot of not just advocacy, right? They're involved in administrative matters as well, such as pension plan and recently announced HR program that assists administrators. So they're basically using bulk purchasing power to provide services not just to elected officials but also to non-elected officials. So where this is headed is unclear to me. It appears that the NSFM feels that the board membership is no longer required, and that there are other ways that the NSFM and the AMANs can work together. However, when I look at the changes that are on the bylaw, they're also looking to eliminate CAOs from NSFM meetings. And so this causes a bit of confusion to the CAOs because as elected officials, you're accustomed to having a preferred advisor or an administrator or somebody that assists you around this table and in other tables, whether they're regional bodies, Mariner Center, Airport, you get that assistance. And oftentimes, while the administrator is not a political person, they are involved in many political aspects of what's going on. And many times, politics and administration, they do run hand in hand on issues. So it's sending a very negative message to the Association of Municipal Administrators that we are not welcome to the table, whether they intended that or not. That is what's happening. And so I don't really see the motivation for eliminating that position at the NSFM table. I think that it is an important connection between the two organizations. But it's not my decision, and certainly not, and certainly not the decision of AMANS. What the association has said was, if the NSFM wants to eliminate that seat, they can. We will not be eliminating, by we I mean the association will not be eliminating the NSFM position from their board membership. So that's where we are. So I think that my concern would be that you're going into the NSFM Fall Conference, and I want you to all be aware that this is coming. The information is attached. I have since received additional information that I believe you also may have received it, but I'm happy to share it as well, which is basically more questions and answers around why they are doing this. On a personal note, I was a board member that volunteered to assist in the COVID funding initiative. That was a $76 million federal funding that assisted municipalities in restoring revenues for lost revenues around transit, transportation, recreation, all those things that had to close down because of COVID, right? So, those costs were going on, but there was no revenue associated with that. So there was a very, very large ask, of which I give a lot of credit to NSFM staff and a small group of administrators that leaned in to make this a reality. And I firmly believe that my own membership as a board member at that committee made me acutely aware of the issue. I think that as municipal councilors, you probably find the same thing when you're on a committee, right? When you're on a committee, everything that you're doing on the committee is important work. You lean in on the work. We just had a conversation about the airport, and I suspect that Councillor LeBlanc thinks very highly and strongly about some of those initiatives. So that's not different in this case. I think it's a step backwards, honestly. That's my personal opinion. It's not a political one. And the association thinks very strongly that it is also not a good move, but it is not our decision. And I think it's our responsibility to bring that information to you, and you make that decision for yourselves, because really, at the end of the day, it's the electorate that decides if bylaws are going to change for the NSFM.
Thank you. It seems complicated.
Thank you. Councillor LeBlanc?
Thank you. I know from just sitting on committees, and again, we have regional assets that we have all three municipalities that have members sit on. And, one of the committees that I'm on, I'm the chair of, and the other two, I'm the vice chair of. And so there's the stuff that we look into a lot of times when we're reaching out for answers, we're reaching out to the three CAOs, and they're the ones that are the experts. And They're the ones that you know, have the governance model, and they understand their budgets, and they know what's going on. And so it's really important to bounce things off of this. What I don't understand, which I'm not getting a clear indication of from NSFM, is what is their reasoning behind this? That they haven't come out and indicated very clearly why their board of directors is going this route, and what is their reason. And until, I guess, they can show or indicate this is the reason why and make it make sense, I certainly don't support this. I feel a lot better having Representative of Amans sitting on the NSFM board than not. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? So CAO Muse, would it be beneficial for us to make a motion to send our thoughts on this to the NSFM, or is it too early to do that? Oh, sorry.
That's a really good question. It's a little complicated because the NSFM's membership is the municipality. But then when you change bylaws, it's individual councillors that hold the vote, which is unusual. If you have a meeting with the NSFM around this, my suggestion is a motion may not be necessary now,
Okay.
but that you're all aware of the situation. Look, I'm a big fan of seeing both sides of this, right? And NSFM is not here explaining
Right.
their position. They have provided us with information. So my suggestion would be go in, you know what the AMAN's position is, and and to Councillor LeBlanc's point, if all of you agree with that, then you go in with that in mind and ask questions. And then upon which it really doesn't matter if as a municipality we disagree with these here.
We have to
What
vote.
matters is the
How we
vote
vote.
in the fall. So my suggestion is not to make a position now,
Okay.
but have an open mind for the NSFM meeting, know that this is an issue, and you might get good explanations from the NSFM that we have not yet heard about why they're making these, and there's two changes here, right? There's the elimination of the CEO from the meeting, which is, I'm not sure why that would be advantageous. From my feeling is that having too many voices in the room can be a problem, right? And perhaps this is what they're trying to avoid. Because I've seen, CAOs, they have an opinion too, right? So perhaps when you have these kinds of meetings, there's too many people in the room. But there's other ways to deal with that, rather than eliminate that voice entirely. But there's other ways to do that. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I think it's up to you as elected officials to deal with this. You don't need to motion that
Okay.
today. Yeah,
Thank you.
good.
Councillor Digdon?
Thank you. But the too many voices in the room, I believe there's only one voice from the Amans with the FCM when they'd be having meetings. Am I right on that?
Yes.
By saying that? Okay.
Yes.
To be honest, truthful, some of us may not even get to attend the fall conference in Halifax. So I was jotting down while some people were talking. I'd be willing to make a motion just to send a letter to the NSFM asking them why they feel as though it would be better off not to have a member of Amans on their executive, I guess. They're not executive, but in their team, what do they
committee.
call that? There's a few of them, that has meetings. Just what their reasoning is. Maybe they have a very good reason for it. At least then they could tell us. But just saying we don't want a member of the administrators on with them anymore. Why? What brings us to this? I'd be willing to make that motion if it goes through. It does. If it don't, all right.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. It's seconded. Any other questions or comments on that motion? Deputy Warden Saulnier?
I'm just concerned of usually when you guys alluded to committees, and so you have some knowledge and some advice coming out of these, streaming out of these committees, as Alain would have knowledge coming out for us and, or streams of advice. What my question would be to maybe add to this, if possible, to get some information, is are we gonna lose information here? If not, where are we gonna get it from? That's my question. I'm a little bit in the gray area here. If our CAO is not allowed to do this, where do we get the information? Again, maybe they have a plan for that. I have no idea. But the more information we got, the better we work.
Definitely.
It's that simple. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a motion on the floor. Any other questions or comments on that? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. Thank you. Number 11, correspondence and for information. 11A is water update. I was going to put this on the agenda, but then it was there. So there is an update for residents, and I probably, like all of you, have noticed that on social media, they've been putting updates regularly, letting residents know how and where they can get coupons for water. We always, as well, still have the well lending program. We talk about that a lot, that if you have a well that goes dry summer after summer after summer, it's going to continue to go dry. And we do have a really good well lending program here for our residents. There's non-potable water delivery as well. So any comments on that? Deputy Warden Saulnier.
Well, thank you. As I've said to a lot of people, it's not the municipality's fault because it doesn't rain. However, we have to do as much as we can to help. And it's been said before that by dumping water in a well doesn't really help. It just absorbs in the ground and goes on. I've been asking a few plumbers how, if it was possible, I don't know what the cost would be. I think it'd be minimal to hook up, but you have to include the tank. But hook up one of these 1,000-liter tanks and pump straight from there to the house. And we're talking about seniors here, basically. We're not talking about everybody in the municipality. Some can afford to do their own. I'm just looked at that a bit. Still don't know how plausible that idea might be, how affordable it might be, but it's something to look at. Because drinking water is quite available. We have a process for that, so, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor LeBlanc?
Thank you. Just I guess to add on in regards to Councillor Saulnier's comments, I think looking at what's taken place, and I fully agree with what you said, I think the whole key to this is that if somebody does have a well that is continuously going dry each summer, it's probably going to continue to happen based on what's happening. And I fully agree, the municipality's well program is exceptional. And I think that homeowners should really take advantage of that and look further into it if that's what their plan is. Thank you.
Thank you. I continue to talk to people about it when they say to me that their wells have gone dry. And some people know and some people still don't know about it. So we have to continue to put the message out there. Councillor Foster?
I guess I have a question. So where do people get these tanks from?
The 1,000-liter tanks?
The tanks the 1,000-liter tanks that you see on the back of pickup trucks. Are they easy to obtain or to buy? I've heard a rumor, I don't know how true it is, that they are used in the maple syrup industry. And that some of them you can use them for drinking water and others you can't. Some are food grade, some are not. Does anyone know the particulars of this?
I don't. Okay, go ahead.
I'll give this my best shot, Counselor. So I think the bins that you see traditionally on the back of trucks, those big white bins, I think that there's a variety of vendors, and I don't want to name them because I'll miss one and then we're going to get a complaint that we didn't advertise them for free. No offense to anyone, of course. But I think they're in a little bit over $200 to purchase generally. There are other alternatives that might be less costly because that is expensive for people. There are, right now, we're not providing those at the municipality level. We're expecting at least that because we're bringing everything else for free. So you can get some of those rain barrels, those smaller barrels for less money. I don't know the cost of that right now. We've not investigated the maple syrup side of things, but we do know that there are certain bins that will easily carry drinking water as opposed to non-drinking. When we're delivering the water, we're telling people, even if we got it from the town, and that's where we're getting it from, which is chlorinated, generally speaking, drinking water, we're saying it's not drinking water because we don't want people we don't know where it can get contaminated from one place to another, and I don't know what kind of decontamination process they have at their own home around those bins, right? If it's outside, it doesn't take long for gunk to become part of it, right? So we're saying non-drinkable, and what we're saying with that water is, look, use it to flush your toilet, use it to do the basic kind of things. Some are connected directly into the home, and some are not. The ones that are connected directly in the home, obviously, conservation is key because it's easy to get through that much water if you're doing a wash, if you're doing some things in the house versus actually, literally, bucketing the water to bring in the home. That's going to last longer. We've had situations where we've had multiple deliveries because it's their need is very high. So that's my best information on that. We can take a look more specifically at some of the people that are selling this. So if people are going to want this information, they can call the municipality and we can get them better information around that. I hope that answers most of your question.
Yes. I was wondering if these are brand new, that you can purchase them brand new, straight out of the factory, or if they're something that are used for a second purpose, that are being repurposed for this. So, thank you, yeah, very good answer.
Okay. You can buy them new, and we've seen both. We've seen them repurposed as well. We've seen other people using it for different reasons or purposes. Again, non-drinking water purposes.
So I'm just going to read this on air so that people who may not have social media, may not have received this, they will know the process to be able to get drinking water and non-potable, non-drinking water. So we're offering non-potable water, so that's not the drinking water, but used for flushing, those kinds of things, to residents with water shortages at no cost through the Department of Operational Services. The water is meant to be delivered into water storage containers and not directly into wells. The water shall be used for non-potable purposes, including but not limited to flushing toilets, dish, or other basic washing with soap. Water may also be boiled for cooking uses or more sterilized cleaning. So the process to get the non-potable water delivery is that you pre-register your request for the non-potable water, confirming their availability to access the shipment. So upon request, shipments will be delivered to a water storage container as schedule permits between Monday to Friday, and availability of the shipment is dependent upon staff availability. So you register for this service by calling the municipal office, and the number is 648-3293. Then we have drinking water coupons, so if people want water for drinking, that's the potable water. We're providing coupons for residents with dry wells. They can be exchanged for drinking and cooking water at select retail locations. Each household can receive 4 liters of bottled water per person per day, with a maximum of 4 4-liter jugs per household per day. So coupons are available until November 30th, and they can be picked up at the municipal office here in Tuscott Monday to Friday between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. And you can call the municipal office again, 648-2316, for more information on how to register. Okay, Councillor Digdon.
Thank you very much. Thank you for reading that. And again, for anyone that may be watching here tonight, we as counselors are not making this program work. It's the staff that's making this
Yes,
program work.
absolutely.
All of them, and they're going above and beyond, for something that really is not something that any of them were hired to do or anything like that. They're going above and beyond. And I'd just like to say thank you to all the staff that's making this work for the people, for residents. Thank you.
Thank you for mentioning that. Now,
It's up to you.
or go ahead.
Thank you, Counselor. There are, as of today, about 150 residents who have registered for the drinking water program. And I think there's probably, 30-something?
Yeah,
Between 30 and 40 registered for the non-drinking water program. That one's a lot more complicated, to be honest. I mean, you have to have the bin and all that. So as this unfolds, we hope it doesn't. We hope it rains lots and lots, but we also have to plan. And so we are looking at other ways for people to access water. While you've been very complimentary, Councillor, to the staff, and I will echo the efforts of our operational and front-end staff and others that have been involved in this. They very willingly did this because they know what it means. I also want to thank the vendors who have participated in this as well. And last but not least, there are some, I want to thank the residents that are taking care of each other, because you know darned well that people aren't going weeks and weeks and weeks without showers, right? They are going somewhere and they are getting things because their neighbors are being neighborly. I mentioned that because, those services we will expand. If this continues, we're going to continue to expand services to that kind of thing. But that does take a little bit of logistical time because, not everybody has a shower and not everybody's comfortable doing that. But we are examining the possibility of expanding that service to residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Warden Saunier?
Thank you, Warden. You answered part of my question by saying you're going to expand. So we probably are going to be looking at this for next year and the years to come, because this is probably going to be an ongoing problem. I'm guessing some years are going to be wetter than others, but it's something we need to be on top of, I imagine. So are we looking long-term?
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair, two things. Number one, we're looking at short-term and long-term, short-term being the rest of 2025. We hope that the rest of 2025 brings us lots of dew and wetness. We're hoping for that, but we also have to plan to expand services. But it's not just that. I mean, this is not the first time this has happened, right? So we did have a plan of action back in 2018 for the drought, which included very much the same kinds of services that you're seeing now. At this time in 2018, we had showers up in different schools. We're going to look at that again. We did not deliver non-drinkable water to residents back then. We decided to do that this year. But it's clear that there needs to be a plan of action that kicks in so that it's not mysterious when it happens again. And this isn't the only hazard of an emergency management situation. There are hurricanes and other plans. And so we are actively pursuing just a plan of action for the higher risk areas. And that's being done in conjunction with our regional EMO. I will say that in the long term, we're thinking about this now, talking about some of our internal staff assisting Shane and the REMO, because REMO is severely understaffed right now. It is intended that a full-time REMO coordinator will be put in place, but we are waiting for provincial go-ahead for that. And so, but in the meantime, it's putting a lot of pressure on one person to deal with this at a regional scale. So we will be leaning in to see what staff members, which ones have the talent and the energy to help with some of the planning in the future. So I'm hoping that answers your question.
It does, thank you.
Councillor Madden?
My question is there any talk or anything like that of having a source water in the municipality? Like I know there's a tank in East Pumlico. I don't know what it's used for, for fire department and the fishing firms. But thinking long-term, is there a good source of water in the municipality that we could set up a pump or a pump station like they have in Yarmouth, rather than depending on going to Yarmouth all the time? Just wondering.
That's an excellent question. I mean, we looked at this in 2018, we looked at the possibility of a central well, right? And I know that a lot of people say, hey, do you remember the well in Tuscott? There's a lot of water there. We can't use that one, but there are some known locations in Tuscott that have an abundance of water, oddly enough. So we haven't, we've been discouraged by doing this because while it has advantages, it has disadvantages. So everything we do, we're just gonna have to make a decision moving forward. So for instance, we do have the East Pubnico water. We could have easily used the East Pubnico water to fill up the water, like instead of going to Yarmouth, we could have easily gone to East Pubnico. However, it was still far more expedient to do it at the water station today, right? Tomorrow is a different story. Tuscott does not have a well. There's no central well as it relates to this right now. The difficulties that we're working through is, okay, well, if people can't go get the water, that's not going to help them if they can't get the water. So right now, we're focusing on trying to get the water to them. I mean, the best solution is a local solution, right? But we all know that well lending is probably the best option, but it's not necessarily the option that residents can afford, and we get it. So it's good for some, and it's been well used. It's been well used, but there are some that still don't go down that road for whatever reason. So it is being investigated, the possibility of a central well. I'll say that it is, and that we can't make that happen immediately. We got to go through some registration and other ways of doing that. It would bring the water closer, I think, to people to have it in our community. So we haven't thrown that out as a possibility in the future. But we are right now dealing with making sure that if people can't afford to go get it, it doesn't really matter where it is. So we're trying our best to get it to them until we get that solution potentially. I hope that answers your question.
Councillor Digdon?
Thank you very much. The only other thing I was gonna say, I've got 2 Texans that have been here this evening about water. And by no means am I being paid for going down. Paul's Water Service is also trying to help the people, and for $20, they will fill up a tote on the back of a truck. So I know it's being used a lot down home, because people, like they say, they were going to Yarmouth, but instead of going to Yarmouth to fill it up, you know, and that for $5 or $6, and coming as far as Lower West Pubnico and filling it up for $20 is, you know, economics is it's much quicker, it's much easier, and it's cheaper in the long run. So I'd say kudos to Paul's Water Service. I was asked, and I deleted the message. I was asked by somebody that's not even in our municipality why they're charging at all for their water. It's a business. They've got pumps to run. They've got people to pay. They've got equipment to maintain. So they have to get a little something from it, you know. So yeah, but thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, next we have 11B. We have correspondence from Modi to the Department of Justice. So that was a letter that was sent to Minister Drouin about the policing review that we still are wondering about. Reviewing. I guess information still to come. We have 11C, correspondence from Comité organisateur des 4e Jeux régionaux de la Nouvelle-Écosse. There is an attachment as well. Basically thanking us for helping out with les Jeux. There is, and stop me at any time if there's something you want to discuss. 11D, correspondence from the Ecology Action Center. This was a letter received, I shouldn't say congratulating, supporting our decision to move forward with the ADA. We then had some correspondence from John Solos, who is a member of TRIPA. Again, basically saying that, supporting our decision to continue on with the ADA. Then we have New Horizon grant letters of support. So the New Horizons, in order to apply for funding, they need a letter of support from us. So there are two letters attached, one from Patchwork Pals and the other from the SAR New Horizons. And there was another one that will be attached from the Argyle Horizons Club as well. So in order for them to apply for their funding, they need that letter. And then, any questions on any of those? Counselor Digdon?
Just wondering if those letters, we used to do them in a form of a motion. Do we still need to do that?
This is a bit different.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we probably could do a
It's
motion.
your call, Ms. Ward.
Because this is not like community grants. This
Yeah.
is where they're
Yeah.
applying for, but we
Yeah.
could make a motion. Absolutely. CAO Muse?
You're certainly welcome to do that, but just be aware that you're not actually spending your money. You're
No.
supporting them in applying for. So sometimes what happens every year, there's a deadline, right? So
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes, we dispense with the motion because we're not gonna say no
Mm-hmm.
necessarily to people applying, and it's in support of nonprofit organizations. But honestly, if you choose to do this by motion, you can absolutely do that, and we can do it even if at the last minute there are things that come in, we can have a special council meeting to do that. It is entirely up to council. It's up to you how comfortable you are. Right now, what we're doing is we're trying to do this out of expediency to say, okay, the warden is gonna sign because we've never had a no on these before. So, we don't want to jump the gun on council, so it's entirely up to council what it wishes to do.
I'm comfortable no matter what. It's just, it used to come before council, or I even seen sometimes where the warden would sign and then bring it back to council, just, to say that we're all on board, which we always are on board anyway, but.
And
it's-
we can absolutely do that. If you want to make that a motion, Counselor Digdon?
I'll make,
Let's start with Patchwork Pals.
I'll make a motion that Patchwork Pals receive a letter of support from the Municipality of Argyle.
Do we have a second? Seconded by Counselor Madden. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. Do we have a motion for the SAR New Horizons? Okay, moved by Counselor Bork, seconded by Counselor Surratt. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. Now it's official. All right, financial requests. We have two. Council Community Grant request from Friends of DNR for $700, District 9. Okay, so it is moved by Counselor Surratt, seconded by Counselor Digdon. Questions on that? Counselor Madden, do you have a question on that?
TNR?
Oh, trap, neuter, and release.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're used to all these acronyms. There are so many of them. Any other questions or comments on that? Counselor Digdon?
I don't even know if it's the right time to. No, I'll wait till number 13, and I'll just ask a question.
Okay.
and Go from there. Thank you.
Sounds good. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. 12B, we have les Jeux régionaux, so deficit funding request. There were three attachments. Basically, they had some deficits for the les Jeux that they just had. For various reasons, cost of, well, everything has gone up in price, right? And so you put budgets together and then you think you have your cost estimates correct, and then it comes back that they had some deficit funding. So they're looking for $7,500 from the municipality, but that, from what I had read, there were funds put aside from 2012 from les finales, and some of the money could be used for these types of this deficit funding. So basically, they're looking for $7,500. So is somebody willing to make a motion that we give the committee $7,500 to fund their deficit? Moved by Counselor Digdon, seconded by Counselor Bork, questions on that? Counselor Surratt?
I'm just reading the motion and I was a little confused. So the 7,500 for what they requested. I understand that there was more money in this fund that came from 2011, but the 9,500 also suggestion and support. Just clarification on the 9,500.
Sure.
That suggested motion was penned by myself, and essentially, first of all, I kind of feel like it's their money anyway, because it came from the Finale des Jeux, and with specific earmarked, they said it can only be spent in certain ways, and this is one of them. Unfortunately, they ran a pretty heavy deficit. The reason why I had suggested something other than the amount that they requested is that with anything else, they're asking multitude of organizations to see if they if they could fund the deficit. The motion on the floor is 7,500. It's completely appropriate as well. That's what they asked for. I just want to point out that you may be asked after the dust has settled and all the requests have come in, some of them might actually have been denied, and so there may be a third request, and that's okay. I just wanted to maybe hit that at the pass, make sure that there wasn't anything that you wouldn't have to deal with another time. This motion might be perfectly fine. You may never have to talk about it again. So that's the reasoning behind that additional amount. It does say that there's so much money remaining after. That number is incorrect. If the 7,500 goes through, they have, 5,000 and change remaining in that account, not the 3,000 that I put in. Am I being clear?
Yeah, and so, I mean, the request was originally that, you're right, they may need more, and it definitely was earmarked for this, but this is not a solo event. We'll probably have
Correct.
more events coming up and just kind of,
Yes.
if they don't need it, keep it in that bank for future
Yes.
events.
Yeah, and in addition to that, Counselor, we're not the only funder. So while it is their money that came from an event that's occurred successfully, there's other funders here that really, if maybe they shouldn't be taken off the hook, right? That's the downside of going there right now, right? So the motion of 7,500 from our perspective it works completely fine. It's consistent with what they've asked for.
Any other questions or comments on that? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Next, we have number 13, agenda topics for next meeting or notice of motion from councillors. Did you have a question? Councillor Boudreau.
Yes, thank you, Warden. So I've received a few calls in the last probably 2 or 3 weeks about our light bylaw. I think we should set up a public meeting ASAP, and let's not procrastinate, and it should be done soon, because people are concerned.
Great point.
Your thoughts, council?
I have also received some emails, some phone calls, had conversations as well. There's still a lot of people who aren't sure about what it
Exactly.
means,
That's
and we
right.
talked about education, and I think you make a really good point, that the education piece has to start very soon.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I've got one more.
Yes, absolutely, go ahead.
So in the summertime, we're all excited about summertime, and then we get bombarded by mosquitoes. This summer, I spoke with a biologist, and she's working with a bat program, and they're slowly making it come back. She's willing to come here, make a presentation, and help with the, maybe, bat houses, and help with the return of the species to our area.
Great idea. I seen a bat at my house 2 weeks ago, and it's the first time I've seen a bat in a long time, and I was really excited over it.
Yeah, and they want you to report that. Actually,
Really?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. Good.
So my suggestion, Councillor Boudreau, would be to ask that person to, there's an application form that they fill out to make a presentation.
Okay.
And then they submit that, and it gets approved or not.
Okay,
but-
perfect.
Yeah, that's what I would tell them to
Good.
do.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? Councillor Digdon? Oops,
Thank you.
sorry.
As far as the meeting or going to the public with this light pollution bylaw and that, or we talked maybe not even a bylaw, maybe a policy, I don't really know if we are ready to go. I think the last thing that we mentioned was we were gonna table it for a while and go from there. And, because I don't think we're ready as a council and that to bring it out there yet to the public, because there's a lot of unknowns in it for us yet, and not sure how we're gonna go with it, not sure if we're gonna proceed with it as a policy or a bylaw, which again, policy is just more of guidelines, whereas a bylaw it has teeth. And, you know, you're gonna try to enforce it or educate, but at the same time, I don't know as, and I'm not speaking for our CAO or whatever, but I know our staff right now has all they can do to keep everything going. I don't, you know, it's okay to say you're gonna go with a bylaw, but if you're gonna have to go with a bylaw, you have to have some teeth with it, which means you have to have somebody out there that's gonna enforce it. And right now, I don't know if we have somebody that's ready to do that, or if that's the way we want it done, really. That's the only thing I'll say about the light pollution part of it. I've said it before, I've stated publicly, I will state again, and that if it's got anything to do with safety or security of our residents, I personally will not back it up. And that, and on the second part of it, again, with safety and security of our residents, is the SPCA still doing work for us as a municipality?
Go ahead.
They are. It's not the same as what they used to do. It's a great question because we were hit with a recent issue around a dog that was more serious than what we had stated that we would do as a municipality. So let me just be clear. The SPCA original contract was canceled, and there hasn't been a signature on the new one yet, but everything has been essentially penned. And it is basically saying that there's two major types of dog infractions. One is a lot less serious than the other. So your dog barking all night, your dog loose, but not actually intimidating people, maybe intimidating, but not actually attacking or being vicious in any way. Those were going to be handled locally. And that is still being ironed out in terms of where the phone calls go. The dog biting and the those more serious, fierce and dangerous dogs and some more threatening situations were to continue to be serviced by the SPCA. We had a recent incident that tested that arrangement. So we are in contact with them to truly understand what they are going to do for the amount of money that we'll be paying, which is, by the way, considerably less than what it was before, because they're doing a lot less than they were before. My concern is for the safety of my staff, and I'm not interested, nor will I ever be interested in putting any of our bylaw officers that are untrained in this area in the line of fire, and that has been made clear. However, there have been situations where people don't know where to turn. So we have seen instances where they've called us even if they're on that line. So the other service the SPCA is supposed to offer us is services around destroying a dog, which is a terrible way to describe it as a dog lover. But it does happen where dogs have to be euthanized, and also sheltering of high-risk dogs, which may or may not happen locally. So that's my update on that right now. We don't typically get a lot of calls for SPCA for that type of higher aggressiveness situation, but we are working with one right now, unfortunately. So there's still some uncertainty around that service that I'm hoping to iron out for you as soon as possible.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Great. I just really, I hope we can get those answers ironed out sooner than later. Because, and nor should we ever want staff to go out to these dangerous situations and that where you have dangerous dogs, but I sure don't want people that may be scared to go for walks on their own streets or whatever
Yeah.
because of dogs.
Yeah.
Whatever has to happen sometimes has to happen. But I hope we can work towards getting some, that the residents know that they can call a number, and those dogs or animals, doesn't necessarily have to be a dog, will be dealt with accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Counselor Madden?
Yes, I just want to talk on the light bylaw as well as Councillor Boudreau did. Of course, I've had phone calls, and probably from the same people and concerned businessmen in the area. I'm just surprised that they haven't been approached to what the bylaw is, and we've put this out there. We have a brand-new service station here that the lights are up, lots of money spent, and all of a sudden they gotta maybe turn the lights down. So anyhow, I think we need a lot of clarification. I don't know if a public meeting is good right now, but we're gonna have to have one at one time. But we need a lot of information on that, so it's agenda topic. So, and on the other side, I also have residents that are looking for information on streetlights. So one wants lights and one doesn't want lights, so I'd like to have somebody talk to us about streetlights, and maybe the past councillors or the councillors that have been here know more about the streetlights. I've read a bit about it, but I'd like to have a presentation. I've had questions on those also. And I'm good for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Did you want to speak? Okay. Go ahead.
So on the streetlight issue, that is a topic that will be brought up at the next council meeting. I know that there's been a lot of changes around that with Nova Scotia Power. So I think council needs to understand what the new is. On the light bylaw, I think that most of the concerns that we've received are commercial concerns. And I think that, we have attempted or efforted and will continue to effort the one-on-one conversations with people. I've had talks with some commercial owners, but certainly not the majority of them. And look, we've got some commercial owners with a lot of lights. And they have legitimate questions about what does the light bylaw mean. So the light bylaw, just first and foremost, was an educational piece for many years before we would even contemplate enforcement. And actually, enforcement's a big problem. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a big problem. Because there's no way that, first of all, we have very specific rights around what bylaw enforcement officers can and cannot do. And we will not, cannot and will not enter the property for this purpose. We can enter the property for land use purposes, we can enter the property for dangerous or unsightly complaints or purposes, but we cannot enter the property for this purpose. It's very clear in the Act, and I think that is actually an error in the draft that was presented to you. That is definitely out. The other issue is in the advertising, we said three things. We said that, proper shielding of the light on the top, full shield down. Was one of the three things that we were recommending. The other is to reduce the energy output of the light. So that's the Kelvin. So what you see around Kelvin is like everybody's used to seeing watts.
Lumens.
And lumens is actually the luminaire or the actual brightness. And so it says 2700 Kelvin, which is aggressively low. A lot of, like Nova Scotia Power, for instance, has said that if they're going to put a street light on your property, they're going to go to 3000 Kelvin. But if they're going to put a street light on the highway, it's going to be brighter than that, and for clear and obvious reasons, right? And the third and last one was the, what was it? It was the automatic shut-off. So there's the encouragement that lights can be on motion. So especially at the home, right? That having a light on all night for no reason might not even be a great electrical idea, right? You may just want the light for security when there's movement. So those three things were mentioned, and one of the best questions I heard was, well, which is it? Is it all three? Is it one of them? which one's more important? And so in looking into it, the shielding is the most important one, but it happens to be the most expensive one, because to add that to a light is a lot more challenging, especially if the light is 20 feet high or more, compared to unscrewing a light bulb and putting in another one. In fact, Efficiency Nova Scotia might be more than happy to assist people in changing that, because it's less energy, right? So we've got a lot of things that we got to work through. And I think that the best thing is to first start with commercial businesses, because I think they are the ones that have the most fear around it and potentially the most concerned. And so I think let's have those one-on-ones. I know that, and the financial implications, absolutely. And in terms of the residents themselves, the lighting on residential homes is not terrible in Argyle. It really isn't. And we don't have a lot of streetlights, to your point. So I think we have to be careful how this gets rolled out. I think we rolled it out a little too quickly. And now that's the bad news. The good news is we rolled it out a little too quickly, because now everybody knows about it. And so it's not a law. We're in discussions, and we will continue to have them. So I think if you're hearing from your constituents, take that information. There's a lot of good information that they're sharing, and some of it might be fear-based, but some of it is logical. Very, very, very good points and concerns that are legitimate. So bring them in, and I think that also, I think it would be important for them to know that this is going nowhere. There isn't a second reading that's going to miraculously appear. This is not going to happen. It's going to be one-on-one conversations to get more information. And based on that, we might come back and say, look, this is what your commercial businesses are saying. And that is going to play a part in your ultimate decision as to what you're going to do as council. So I hope that's maybe helpful. But the street...
That's what I was
Oh,
thinking too.
the streetlights is for the next agenda. And, yeah, not the light thing, no. But thank you for reminding me I should maybe turn my light off, okay.
Deputy Warden Saunier.
Oh, thank you. I'm on the same topic as well. I'll echo what Councillor Digdon said, that we are not close to being ready for a public consultation on this. I need a lot more information. I only have bits and bytes. I think we all do. I look at my house, it's just private resident, but I have a motion sensor light that when someone walks by, you want to put your sunglasses on. But does it affect anybody just 100 yards away? No. So what does light look like close up to the observatory, which is what it's all about, or in East Pimlico, right? So I think we need to be comfortable with this before. We need to, this is going to be written for us to understand. And if we don't like it, we just don't put it in. If we like it, we do. But there's a lot of pushback here. Maybe it's because there's a lot of unknowns, but it's unknown to us too, and that's the problem right now. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Boudreau?
Yeah, again, the light pollution. The only reason I want education right away is I don't want this to be the next ADA. That's my beef, because there's a lot of people that are upset, and the more we can put out there, I think the better it is. First thing we'll be here and we'll have all the information, and then all of a sudden we got no time to pass it on to the residents. I don't want another ADA, that's all.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Yep. So I'm hearing 3 things that came up. So we're looking for more information about the SPCA and moving forward. And it doesn't mean next meeting, but upcoming topics. Streetlights, which you said will be probably on the next agenda, and more information around the lighting bylaw. So that would be 3 topics for upcoming meetings. Councillor LeBlanc?
Thank you. Actually, if I can sort of add in, and this isn't for the next meeting, but this will be something that I am going to be looking at bringing forward. And we sort of talked about this last year, but I do think it's time that maybe we look at doing a feasibility study in regards to a dog park for the Pimlico Argyle areas. We've had a lot of requests in regards to that. The residents used to be able to, or they did, bring them to the ball fields, but obviously, ball fields are not meant for dogs, they're meant to play baseball. So it is a request that people are looking for, and that will be something that I'll bring forward later on. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Digdon?
Thank you. Support, support Mr. Boudreau by all means, and that, and about the information getting out there, but right now, I don't know if we have any to get out, really, and that. Yeah, no, by all means. And the dog park, by all means, I've been asked about it numerous times myself, or if we could look or maybe come up with a solution. The solution might be in front of us, but sometimes it's too close and you're looking over it. I'm hoping really that after ball season is over, that we can at least get the ball field again in Lower West Pubnico to be used as a dog park, at least for the winter months. I've spoken with the people that's playing ball down there, and they are having no trouble at all from dog owners. They've had nothing on the field that should not have been on the field. So they said that it worked really well, for them this summer. And the only other thing, and not pushing it, I guess, but yes, pushing it, is the answers from the SPCA, or what we are going to do if there's dogs out there or animals that are dangerous and that people may get hurt or worse over it. And I'd like to put that on, I guess I'd like to put it on the agenda for the next meeting,
Okay.
please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. A lot of discussion on item 13 tonight, and that's good. We just kind of go through. I think that's where all of our wheels were spinning. No, that's great. So question period. Any questions in question period?
Yeah.
Okay.
If there's comments, I won't, but if there's questions, I will. Maybe there isn't, just looking. There were some comments around the social media policy, and I would strongly encourage residents who have concerns around that to look at the wording of the policy. Some were, commenting that comments that oppose the municipal position will be deleted. That is absolutely not true. We see people disagreeing with municipality every day, all the time. It's more about the type of speech and how it might discourage or disfavor people based on discriminatory reasons, or if there's, like swear words. I don't think that's really a place for that. Spam, we get a lot of spam. This isn't necessarily about a resident of Argyle. It can be an AI produced commentary that we've seen that happen as well. So that's really what the policy is about, is actually we don't have any we encourage disagreement, and we also encourage polite and meaningful
Respect.
and respectful disagreement. So there's a comment about the warden already has a second vote if there's a tie in municipal government. That's actually a false statement. The warden, many organizations, nonprofits, would only have the chair vote in a tie. That's a very common thing that you see in a lot of nonprofit. But in municipal government, it's different. In the municipal government, the warden or the mayor is entitled to vote on every question, even as the chair. So you will notice, and maybe you haven't, but you notice, and whether you're watching others, it's all those in favor signify by saying aye, because the warden has a vote. The warden is not entitled to a second vote if there's a tie. So it's very clear, Section 21, subsection 4, the MGA, in the event of a tie on a question, the question is determined as a negative. So in this case, there's 9 of you. That doesn't happen, but there could be one missing, right? And you could be 4 on 4, and there is no veto vote. There's no super vote in today's legislation. It would be assumed as a no. So that's how the MGA works. That's how it works here. I just want to be clear that I just didn't want that information to be, if people are listening or watching, they should know that that's not the case. Outside of that, I think that is all. And obviously, there's other questions or concerns. We can get them, we sometimes get those through emails if we, and in other ways. And I want to just say this, like, we're not discouraging disagreement, and we're not discouraging people to express their concerns to us. We think that comments on Facebook are not a proper venue for that. There's plenty of other ways that people can address certain things, and honestly, we have, we get calls, and we want to do, my favorite conflict resolution is a face-to-face conversation, to be honest. And I think it's a respectful way to look at a situation, and we're just trying to encourage that kind of dialogue as opposed to the quick and easy
Well, the reality is,
comment.
when you make a comment on Facebook, it's very easy to make a comment that you wouldn't say to somebody's face. And I feel like that's kind of what we're avoiding. If you look at the language in the bylaw, it talks about not calling out specific people in our municipality, which you wouldn't want us to do for our residents either. It's really is about respect. That's really what it boils down to.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for.
Thank you. So we have, number 15, we have 3 in-camera items on our agenda for this evening. So do we have somebody willing to make a motion? No. Okay, motion to go in camera, yep. Seconder? Seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried.